Legal Lease, Lease Wheel is on the line. Each time we speak with Lease, we talk about the issues out there. 3 topics, and from a legal standpoint, and she lays them all out for us. Good morning, Lease.
Good morning.
Great to have you on the radio. I want to go right to the first topic. Who is to be held responsible for the Oakland, California warehouse fire? I got to tell you, this owner was out talking, and I really got to wonder, somebody should have advised him against it.
Yeah, if I were his lawyer, which would be a bad position to be in, I definitely would advise against him. He's front and center of liability there, even criminal liability, because if he knew that his tenants were, really in substandard conditions, I mean, my gosh, it's looking at more and more like it may have been from a electrical thing, like a refrigerator that had gone bad, looking less and less like it was arson, but that these tenants were in really incredibly substandard conditions, that he was not following any kind of code, and that maybe the city knew about that as well, which then I bring the city liability into it.
Right.
But the city could or should have known something that was going terribly wrong with these tenants. They were living in real substandard, subcode conditions, and for gosh knows how long and how many people were there.
I hate to say, but we have these. I heard somebody the other day say, "Well, why'd you live there then?" I have to tell you that people in so many scenarios in their lives sometimes don't have a choice. They're stuck in a situation.
You don't have money. They have nowhere else to go. There are the people that they know that are there. They're told to stay and then just tell people that they're not living there. Just be quiet. And it's not like they just can check into the Gramercy. I mean, that's just not. They just don't have the choice.
There's no doubt. And the more this guy talks, the more he seems insane. I mean, he was talking about his loss, property.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think 30 people plus are dead here.
If you saw the interview, it was all over the news last night. It was like, I mean, look, if I'm prosecuting this case on a criminal charge, I just bring the popcorn, have him just keep talking. I mean,
watch this.
He was like, I think it was to Matt Lauer, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was like,
I was on
you're
today.
a bad man. You're a bad man asking me these questions. I'm like,
okay,
I love this. I love this interview. You're the defense lawyer, just like
no doubt about it. Yeah, get that tape. Topic 2, mistrial. This is we saw the video of this police officer shooting this unarmed black man in the back. But they're saying, I thought it was very interesting when the defense attorney went in and said that you don't know what happened prior to that, which led to it, and also there was a fear that this man could still hurt him. I don't know. The video you see is the guy's running away from him. What do you think?
Right. It has to be, the legal standard is what is in the mind of the reasonable officer at the time, okay? And that's, does that reasonable officer, put that reasonable officer out there, have a reasonable fear of harm, imminent harm to himself or to the community at that time when the dead man is running away? Does he have a reasonable harm to himself or anyone else? At that point, I think he knows that he doesn't have a firearm. But does he know? Could he have a firearm? Does he have his taser? The tell for me, if I had been on the jury, I think would have been his actions after the man is down, after Scott is down. That Slager goes back, and you can see it pretty much on the video, goes back, retains the item on the ground, which is the taser. Yeah. Picks up the taser and drops it by Scott's body. Well, why would you do that? Yeah. Sort of setting the scene if you knew that you were fine on a
you made a mistake.
Yeah.
Right. You're sort of setting up.
Doesn't make you look good.
Having
I'll
the
tell you
taser
that.
near the dead man's body.
Now,
it wasn't near the dead man's body.
Right. Is there going to be a retrial here? This was a mistrial.
Yes.
There'll be another trial.
There'll be a retrial. It's not a double jeopardy, as some people were saying. It's not a double jeopardy unless there's an acquittal.
Got it. And
there'll be a retrial. But even before the retrial happens, I think that a federal trial will start.
Okay.
And that's a federal civil rights charge.
Okay.
against him. So
I believe
the
there
federal
was
charge will go first.
one juror that was the lone juror. And at one point, the rest of the jury asked the judge to remove this person, and that wasn't going to happen. So it's really
you can't really remove a juror just because they're not going with what you're saying.
They're not going with the rest of them. Okay, topic 3: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Try to tackle extremist content. Who's to be the judge here, and what's extreme and what isn't?
That's the problem. I mean, I kind of say, great. Finally, these Facebook, Twitters, and all these guys are saying we're not just going to let any content, and just because they were hiding behind this. Well, we don't have to. It's free speech, and we're just the content holders.
Yeah.
So we don't have any kind of liability.
Right.
Now they're saying, well, we're going to look at it and see what we think.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, you do want to have First Amendment rights. So I kind of like they're saying we're going to look at it and amongst ourselves. Great. The question is, what do they do then?
Right.
I think if they say, look, as long as you're looking at it, and then if you kind of say, hey, law enforcement, we see these things. What do you think? As long as they're not pulling it down and saying, no, you can't post it.
But technically,
law enforcement.
I ask you, technically, they have the right as a private business, right, to be able to skew, and they could go far right, far left. They could really do what they want, can't they?
They can.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what they're saying. I think what I think they're saying, and this is also news, what I think they're saying is we're going to look at some stuff, talk amongst ourselves, and then if we think it could potentially be violating,
report.
Because this could potentially be criminal, hate crime, something like that.
Yeah.
We're going to hand it over to the police and let them decide.
I think that's probably the most responsible way to do it, right?
I do too. If that's what they're saying, I like it.
Got it.
It doesn't say we're going to squash your freedom of First Amendment.
Right.
But if we think that it could be criminal, we're going to hand it over to the cops. Why not? If it's criminal, it's criminal, right?
No doubt. Legal
Shouldn't
lease.
be publishing it anyway.
Lease Wheel, as always. We love having you on. Thanks so much.
All right, you got it.
Talk
Take
to you
care,
next
guys.
week.
Be good.
All right.